Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's Dave here. So I wanted to come on with you guys live, and I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna watch the recording. I planned on doing this, I'll be honest, a little later tonight, but I had some free time. I have a market council call tonight. I have a call with another coach before that, and it's gonna be family time in between with dinner, and I have some free time. So I said, let me come on here and talk to you guys about the law of trade-offs. Some of you guys probably at work, commuting. I just got home a little while ago. But guys, the reason I want to share this with you guys is I have been in a John Maxwell online course for probably the past 8 weeks. And it's been a real life-changing moment for me in terms of a lot of ahas I've had in the business, what I need to do to get to where I want to go, and some of the trials and tribulations that I went through, in fact, as I was going through the journey of coaching. So the law of trade-offs, guys, and I'm gonna simply, like literally, I've taken notes from the course that I've been in, and I took notes of the law of trade-offs, and I want to look down and refer to it, and I want to talk about it with the business. So basically, the law of trade-offs says that, if you guys want to write this down and follow along, I highly suggest it. It says that you have to give up to go up. And he adds that people stop the journey when they are unwilling to make the trade-offs. So when I think of coaching, and I think back of when I really wanted for the business to grow, and when I really wanted to get to the next level, I realized that I had to make sacrifices. And back early on, it may have been sacrifices of I had to do my workouts in the morning and give up a little sleep, or else my workouts were not going to get in, and nor I was going to get the results that I wanted. Or with my business and having 3 little kids, I realized that a couple years ago that a trade-off I had to give was basically giving up television, because working full-time and having big goals in this business and having 3 little kids, it was basically going to be impossible for me to be with my kids, put them to bed at night at 8 o'clock, and then sit and watch television for an hour and a half. And still to this day, I really don't watch too much TV. I watch a little bit, a couple shows, but I had to make sacrifices. And the same on the weekends. I had to make sacrifices with the business, that even though it was my days off from the state police, you know, I still work the business 7 days a week. I am still doing something with the business. I try to disconnect, but one of the trade-offs I had is that in order for me to go up, you have to give up, right? And I had to give up maybe some free leisurely time in order to go up in the business and grow. So John shares that everything worthwhile is uphill. And a trade-off is giving up something of value in order to pursue something of greater value, right? So we so often may have to give up something that we feel is important to us. We may have to give up, you know, those times when our friends want to go out, you know, to happy hour or go out to dinner, or our friends want us to hang on the weekend and we feel lonely, but we may have to say no in those times. And I have had to say no to times and doing functions with friends because I had to work my business. So the trade-off for me is giving up something of value at that time so that I can pursue something of greater value. You know, and giving up, and I'm looking at my notes, giving up what we have to get more is the challenge. Giving up something we have to get more is the challenge. And it's not giving up something of no value. John really talks about if you're giving up something that isn't valuable to you, it's not going to help you grow to the next level. And the more you have, this is true too, the more you have, the harder it is to do trade-offs. So as you become more successful in this business, the trade-offs are bigger. Like early on, and I'll get to that in a second, he claims that dreams are free, but the journey is not. I love that. You know, we all can dream, we all can have goals, but the journey to get there is going to cost us a price, right? And we must grow through change, not go through change. We must grow through change, not go through change. And that's another thing, like when you are trading off to go to the next level and you're giving something up, you're growing at the same time. And you can't just go through it, you actually have to grow through it. You know, and then John said, for me, to go up, not only do I have to give up, but I have to grow up. And I was like, wow, when he explains that. And I really want to give you all these notes. Maturity comes in making good trade-offs over time. And Son of John's examples he talked about is financial security that he gave up today for potential tomorrow. And he gave an example back when he started his equipping foundation called Enjoy, to equip leaders to teach and build other leaders throughout the world. He couldn't afford anything, but he needed to hire a certain person in order to get his business off the ground. And he hired the guy by telling him, I'm going to pay you my salary so that I can hire you. And the guy he was from IBM said, John, you're going to pay your salary. You sure you know what you're doing? He said, yes, I'm sure, because I realize that if I want to get to that next level, I want to pay you my salary because I feel in 4 months that we'll be able to make it back. And he said he called his wife that day, and he remembers telling her from after the meeting, she said, how's the meeting going? And he said, I have good news and bad news. And the good news is that I hired this guy. She said, great, that's great. And what's the bad news? And the bad news is that she said, I had to give up my salary. And it was a lot of stress for them. But he realized today he has equipped over, and I wrote it down, millions and millions and millions of leaders, certified 13,000 coaches in over 130 countries, that he did that, but he had to be willing to do that trade-off. And so often, people also often say, and I think about it many times, coaches, or many times when I mentor or talk to people on other teams, and they say, David, I want to be able to, say speak at Summit, or I want to be able to have what you have, or I want to be able to have a 6-figure business in coaching. And John's question to so many people that say, John, I wish I can speak in front of a lot of people. He says, will you like to do what I did so you can do what I do now? Will you like to do what I did so you can do what I do now? And there's a lot of power to that, because most people want what you have, but they're not willing to do what you did to get there. And the law of trade-offs really talks about that you really got to give up certain things to go up to the next level. You have to make sacrifices. So some of the thoughts that John summarized towards the end of it, he says, many trade-offs, number one, many trade-offs can be made at any time. You can decide at any moment that you want to give up something of value to get to the next level. Okay? Number two, trade-offs force us to make choices. It makes you to decide that, hey, if I want to get to the next level, or if I'm not getting to the next level, it's never about that you're not capable. It's you're not willing to give up stuff in your comfort zone to be able to get to the next level. You have to make choices. Number three, trade-offs stand between where you are and where you want to go. I love that. Trade-offs stand between where you are and where you want to go. So right now, where you are in your business, right now, whether you're happy with it, maybe you're not happy, but most people want more. Most people want to get to that next level. Most people, David, I want to become an elite coach. David, I want to build a big team. The key is that trade-offs stand between where you are and where you want to go. And if you're not getting to the level you want to go, it's because you're not willing to trade off. You're not willing to give up something of value and comfort to you to grow, to go up to the next level. And I think about, for me, like wanting to build this to a 7-figure income, build towards 15-star diamond. I know every single day that not only am I reaching out to 20 new people on Facebook and 5 new messages, I'm also reaching out to 10 new people a day on Instagram. On top of every Sunday, I am trying to find 10 people I want in my tribe as coaches, and I'm trying to form them on Instagram. So I'm massively expanding my network, because I truly believe that if I want to get to the next level, I can't do the 2 to 3 contacts a day that Beachbody asks of us. I'm trying to do like 30 to 40 a day. More than that. I'm trying to speak to as many people as possible. So trade-offs stand between where you are and where you want to go. Number 4, the pain is felt before the gain is realized. I love that. Point 4, the pain is felt before the gain is realized. It's like right now, or wherever you are in your business, the grunt work, the work of doing the business every day or dealing with objections, that's all part of the process, guys. That's the pain. And you have to realize that you have to be willing to go through that pain and accept the adversity and grind it out if in fact you're going to feel the gain. So when it comes to trade-offs, the pain is felt before the gain is realized. Number 5, the higher you climb, the tougher the trade-off. So true. So true. Each success buys us an admission ticket to a bigger problem. And I think about like the problems I had when I was a new coach, and then the problems I had when I was an emerald, because I say I had 2 coaches, and then the problems I had when I was a diamond, then star diamond, then elite, they massively seem to get bigger. And if you're not willing to grow, it's not that you hit a glass ceiling, it's that you haven't owned the level that you're at. So you're not ready to deal with the problems of the next level. So the higher you climb, the tougher the trade-off. And each success buys us an admission ticket to a bigger problem. I can't say that's no further than the truth. Going through being a leader of your team or whatever it is, as you become a bigger leader, the tougher it is. When at the bottom, we make trade-offs out of desperation because it's a negative thing, like, oh my God, I'm beyond broke, I'm in debt, or I'm extremely overweight, I gotta get my health in order. So that's a negative, you're doing it out of desperation. But when compared to the top, let me start over. When you're at the bottom, we make trade-offs out of desperation, which is a negative, compared to when at the top, we make them out of inspiration, which is a positive. And I think about that. When I go back, guys, I started Beachbody workouts because I had high blood pressure and I was overweight. And then I started working the business because Kristen and I were in severe debt and I wanted to make a little money. I was out of desperation. Now that I want to get to where I want to go to the top because I'm inspired to have an amazing life and have these things with my kids and to create, financial independence and to create a team of 5 and 10,000 coaches with all of you guys to impact so many people. Like when people message me or tell me at events that you have inspired me to change or you inspired me to make a difference, that's what inspires me to keep going. It's a positive, but early on it wasn't. So the higher you climb, the tougher the trade-off. But when you're at the bottom, we make trade-offs out of desperation. But when we do it at the top, we make them out of inspiration. Love it. Next, a trade-off when you have little is not near as heavy as when you have much. And that, again, is so true, guys. I just think of my own journey, and you probably can think of your journey. If you're a coach right now watching this that has been around a while, maybe a diamond or higher, you realize the trade-offs you had to make early on. You could miss events. You can miss Super Saturdays. You can miss Summit. It's not a big deal in your head. For me, I host Super Saturdays with the council, and there's hundreds of people there. I can't just skip it. Going to Summit is a requirement of Star Diamond levels to get part of the compensation plan. Last year when Kristen and I spoke at Summit, it wasn't optional. Like I had to find a sitter for my kids. I had to figure it out. The trade-off is very little early on, but as you grow as a leader, they become bigger. And then John said, that's why people who reach a certain level of success never get any higher. They have a certain level of comfort, but aren't willing to trade off any higher in their life. Like, wow. Because then I think of people that not even in this team and other teams that have come to me and they're not going anywhere and they're not getting to that next level. And it's because they've reached a certain level of success and they didn't get any higher because they got comfortable and they're not willing to trade off any higher to get to that next level. So wherever you are right now, think about that with you. If you're not getting to where you want to go, it's probably you're not willing to trade off what you need to give up. Number 6, continued trade-offs are a result of seeing the big picture, which I love. You realize that it's like building blocks. And if you have a big picture mindset of what you want, you realize one trade-off will lead to the next. And also number 7 is, John says, take time outs for your trade-offs, meaning think about what you're going to give up to go up. And one point that John says is that he always makes sure that his trade-off doesn't go against his values. And he talks about examples when people have offered him, somebody offered him $1 million to do something in his business that he knew wasn't the right thing. he gave up $1 million that he said he remembers crying on the floor, balled up in a fetal position because he had to tell a guy basically, you know, I don't need your $1 million, but he knew it was against his values. So I thought that was so powerful. Take time outs for your trade-offs. They never are easy. They will always stretch you, but you will always become stronger. You become stronger every time you make a trade-off. You have to give up to go up, and when you go up, you will grow up. He said, quote unquote, I think is on the front side of the trade-off, but I know is on the back end of it. I love that. This is where confidence comes in, right? You have to realize that it's not optional and you can't have I think, but I think is what we do on the front end. But then once we have the trade-off and get there and we grow and we give up, we have I know is at the end of it. Trade-offs don't dumb down. Oh, this is another thing. I love this. He says that as you want to grow, they're not going to dumb down to you. Trade-offs do not dumb down for you to make it easier. They only get bigger. Trade-offs is going to be hard. So if you say no to one thing, the next time you're faced with the trade-off, it's going to be twice as hard to deal with it because you said no early on. So those are the points, guys, that he shared with me. And I just really thought about the business and with so many people, and I'm wrapping up here. And thank you guys for being on. And I hope a lot of you guys watch the recording. That I thought about like what I'm doing now to grind and realize I'm doing so much more work now. And I can tell you right now, guys, that where my business is now compared to a year ago, even income-wise, is a lot less than it was the same months a year ago. But I'm working twice as hard. And listening to this and listening to John's lesson today, it's that right now my trade-off is that I am putting in a lot more work, a lot more time, a lot more hours, putting a lot more work set on Saturday and Sunday as well, you know, doing a lot more brainstorming for the team, you know, whether it was revamping Coach Basics, but in my own business, I'm speaking to probably, you know, 1,000% more than I was speaking to people a year ago between the connects every day, the follow-ups, and like figuring out Instagram. Like the point I'm trying to make is that my trade-off is my time right now. I'm giving up less sleep. I'm staying up a lot later. I'm putting a lot more hours in on the weekends, a lot more hours in the day, and it's causing me to sacrifice a lot of things. But the trade-off is, you know, I need to grow through this to get to the next level because I was not going to get out of where I was or get to where I want to go if I wasn't willing to trade off where I was. So you have to realize no matter where you are, if you reached a certain level of success and you want to get to that next level, you have to be willing to give up to go up. And when you go up, you're going to grow and you're going to grow out of that journey. So I hope this message was powerful for you guys. If you just jumped on, I see some people are on here, Darlene, Dawn, I look like Shannon. Thank you guys. Please go back and listen to my points in the beginning. Reflect how it applies to you. Reflect on where you want to go. Think about what you need to get to the next level and understand it's never a people problem or an issue problem or a life problem or a business problem. It's a growth problem. And that's what's going to stop you from getting to the next level. All right, guys. So have a great day. Time for me to run and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.